Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. I apologize, man. I had to push the time back like 3 times. I promise you it's going to be worth it for sure. Today is going to be one of those episodes that's super jam-packed. It's going to be a lot for some people to take in. We're going to do quite a bit of reading. We're going to watch some video clips as well. But if you are a person that cares more about the substance and the information in itself, then, that's what's most important. All right. And so, because this is going to be such a jam-packed episode, this is definitely going to be clipped into portions over on Didi Got Clips. If you have not followed Didi Got Clips as of yet, I think it's linked to the homepage of this YouTube channel. Go ahead and give that a follow. We're posting clips over there almost daily. So go check that out whenever you get a chance. And in today's episode, we're going to be discussing more Turning Point financial irregularities and connections. We're going to be discussing my new Erika Kirk theory. We're going to be doing a deep dive on Andrew Kolvet, even though we've done that a couple of times on this channel already. We're going to be doing that more so in today's episode and covering some new information about Andrew Kolvet. And then we're going to react to the new White House film footage of the alleged suspect, Cole Allen. All right. And so I'm excited about today's episode, man. And so with that, I'm actually going to kick today's episode off. Oh, that reminds me, there's something I actually need to do because I don't think it's going to pull up by itself. Actually, I'll try. I'm going to kick this off with a video clip to sort of set the stage. Go ahead and hit the like button if you have not hit the like button as of yet. That would help tremendously. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, perfect. All right, everybody. If you are able to catch this live, then that's dope. And with that, we're going to go ahead and kick it off with this. Just to remind you all about some information that Candace Owens shared yesterday on her podcast.
Sentence Andrew and Erika to more truth. That is always the sentencing in this court. Since what you are attempting to falsely insinuate is that I went into that conversation with Erika on December 15th already convinced of her guilt, which is patently untrue. I am now going to prove to audiences just how untrue that insinuation is, okay? With the private revelation that I made to Erika Kirk, information that I gave her that I would not have given to her had I immediately suspected her of her guilt. I would have given her no information regarding this. And it was a private revelation made about you, Andrew Kolvet. I don't know if they told you this. This is a really bad way to find out. But since you tried to surprise me yesterday, bam, surprise, surprise, shouty, as they say.
Shouty.
You see, Andrew, what I told Erika Kirk was that part of the reason why I suspected Turning Point USA and why I thought she should be looking into other people is because someone at Turning Point USA got a message out to me. And that message was that I need to look further into Andrew Kolvet. It was Mikey McCoy.
Wow.
Mikey McCoy got a message out to me via a third-party person that I should look more into Andrew Kolvet. Why would he do that, Andrew? Why would Mikey McCoy say that I should look more into you? When I did look into you, things got very shady. And that's when I started going, who the hell is Andrew Kolvet, actually? He's obviously not a very good PR agent. Everybody can see that. He's a bit of a blubbering idiot. Who is Andrew Kolvet? What are his ties? What are his family ties here? And the more I looked, I did start to see more things. So as you pretend like we're all just conspiracy theorists and nobody had any good information, as you fire a bunch of employees, you were my number one source, Andrew, in the beginning. You just forgot the things that you told me. And that's when I started realizing things were weird. And then I got Mikey McCoy telling me to look more into you. After watching this show, I would say that I had a damn good reason to suspect Turning Point USA. That they were complicit in a cover-up of what happened. Anyway, good luck, Andrew. I hope you're having a good day. Have fun. Drop more messages. Explain that one to the press cycle. I think that's going to catch a couple of headlines.
Yeah, it's going to catch a couple of headlines. This is what I'm going to say. I think that further helps explain the weird behavior from Mikey McCoy that day. To this day, I don't know if we've seen any what you would expect emotions, if you will, from any of the people at Turning Point USA. If any of you all have seen any genuine tears, any genuine emotions, that's why you have what they say, quote unquote, conspiracy theorists out there like myself, who go as far to say that I'm not so sure that Charlie Kirk is deceased, because they are acting as if nobody passed away, right? And so maybe Mikey McCoy was told to behave or do certain things that day and by Andrew Kolvet. I don't know. But that's a great question. Who is Andrew Kolvet? Right? And again, we've discussed this before on this channel. I want to just remind everybody the link to this video is in the description. It's called TPUSA Suspicious Military Ties Are Deeper Than You Think. And I've referenced this video probably 2 or 3 times over the past couple of months or so. And how I know that many of you all have not went over to check out the videos because it's still sitting at 50,000 views. Now, no pressure. You don't have to go and watch it if you don't want, because it's another one of those videos that you can see. It's an hour long. It's a pretty dense episode, right? It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of digging into people's backgrounds and people's family history. But it's a lot of information. Shout out to Brian, the auditor, who we're going to be mentioning here. We're going to speak about Brian, the auditor, quite a bit in this episode, actually, because he sent some other stuff over, some other things over to me that I'm going to be sharing with you all today. But yes, this episode, I highly encourage you all to go and check it out. Once again, it's in the description. But in this episode, we spoke about the Kolvet family, his links and his ties, and that's part of what we're going to be discussing in today's episode. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to sort of set the stage with this one as well. Shout out to James Lee. And I believe James Lee from, 5149, 4951, something like that. He hosted a podcast episode with a guy by the name of Sam Tripoli. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, man. But Sam Tripoli gave his theory on Erika Kirk. And that's going to transition me into talking about what my new Erika Kirk theory is. Or sort of, I say new, sort of an addition to what I already believe about Erika Kirk. And I'm curious what you all think about this in, the midst of this new speech that she gave, which only hurt her more so than it helped. But take a listen to what they had to say.
Kirk, like everyone's pounding on Erika Kirk right now. And I would say have a tiny bit of sympathy, not because of the widow thing, but because she's most likely doesn't have a say in what she's doing. She was very early on in her life. Her parents were both CIA. They have no problems with feeding their kids into the meat grinder. And she's probably an MK Ultra sex kid. And it's like,
so she's not even aware of what she's doing.
She has no say in what she's doing. They tell her what to do. They send her where she has to go. She has her job.
Well, why don't they just hide her in the back? Like, why is she out there being insane?
It goes back to that thing. The final thing I was going to tell you is like, there's the role of the widow in Kabbalah. Like, she's playing a role right now. It's like Courtney Love, if you ask me, had something to do with Kurt Cobain's death. But I would also tell you that she had a very horrible upbringing. Her father was supposed to protect her, put her through the meat grinder, and she probably doesn't have a lot of say at that point what happened in her life. So we should have a little sympathy for that shit.
All right. Well, sorry, Erika.
No, I mean...
Yeah. These are all the things that I've been saying for quite some time myself about Erika, or I should say things we've speculated. Is Erika Kirk MK Ultra? Has she ever been under MK Ultra? Why does she behave so weirdly? But even more so, when Sam and James say in this clip, she's not in control of the things that she's doing. Other people are telling her to do that. It just made me think about some things about Andrew Kolvet that I already knew. And we're going to get into this here in a moment later in the episode about Andrew Kolvet's past, and his ties are beyond suspicious. Like, they're arguably more suspicious than Erika's. And that says a lot. Not because we're picking on Erika, because we have legitimate reasons to be suspicious when you dig into these people's histories. And knowing just one of the things, again, don't want to get ahead of myself, knowing that Andrew Kolvet is tied to Hollywood. For those of you that don't know, many of you all may know that already. That's right. Andrew Kolvet was working in Hollywood before he joined TPUSA and Charlie Kirk's team. And I just wonder, If Andrew Kolvet is Erika Kirk's handler, I do believe that's possible. I believe that's possible. Let me tell you why I'm thinking that, because I know people are speculating if they're together, if they have something going. Let me tell you why I'm leaning so more so. That may be true too. I don't know why I'm considering the strong possibility, strongly considering that Andrew Kolvet could be Erika Kirk's handler. They both have military backgrounds that we're going to get into. We've already got into Erika. We're going to give Andrew the spotlight in today's episode. Quite a bit of spotlight. We're going to dig deep into his history. But before we do that, part of the reason I believe this is if we have time today, we're going to just go over. They finally posted to YouTube the video of Erika Kirk. I know many of you all, when I first dropped it on the YouTube channel, some of you all were saying, I can't find that clip. Where can we find this video of Erika in the black hat and she looked like she's dressed like a sniper? Where can we find this video? Because it's not on the YouTube channel. Where is it? Which was weird because like a lot of their videos nowadays are weird. And it turned out to not even be a live video. Why would you not just go live? It's like you're finding every excuse to dodge the public, to dodge any sort of accountability, because if you go live, then you may see live comments, you may hear who knows. But I was wondering, I was saying, who's their PR person over there? And if anybody tells me Andrew Kolvet, or if Andrew Kolvet is closely tied to the PR person, and they're still choosing to watch back these clips of Erika Kirk, where she's making these weird eyes, these intense facial expressions. She's reading from a teleprompter, which makes it even worse because you have a pre-prepared speech and you're still saying things that are hypocritical, showing your double standards. You're debunking yourself. You're contradicting yourself, despite the fact that the speech was already prepared. Who's preparing these speeches for Erika Kirk? Because if you really care about Erika Kirk, then you would tell her, this is hurting you. Why? Maybe not wear all black. Maybe not in this video. Maybe not a bald cap pulled down over your forehead with these intense eyes you're making, with this all black suit on that makes you look like you were a part of some sort of SWAT team. Maybe that's not the best thing to do right now. But instead they are doing that, which makes me question, what if they're doing that on purpose? I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. What if they want us to be suspicious of Erika Kirk? So you would say, who would want us to be suspicious of Erika Kirk? Erika Kirk seems like she's not happy with it. To me, it appears that she's, like they said in that clip, following orders. Right? Who would tell Erika Kirk or allow Erika Kirk to come on camera and state that it's weird to her that right after the president was almost taken out at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, she couldn't believe that there were all these media individuals that cared so much about getting footage that they were willing to put their life at risk. Anybody that prepares that speech would know that that's about to make Erika look horrible for a plethora of different reasons. Mikey McCoy pulled out his phone and walked off. Tara Farnsworth literally filmed himself before Charlie was even in the SUV, definitively stating that Charlie had already passed away. How does he know that? How do you know that, Terry? How do you know that? The young ladies, a black, looked like she was maybe early 20s, a white girl who like she was probably early 20s, were both filming back by the SUVs. Erika Kirk herself literally filmed Charlie Kirk in a casket. She literally filmed that. So anybody that cares about Erika would know that that would make her look bad. So it would make the most sense to not come on camera. Maybe not mention that point. Maybe not mention how that's weird. Yet that's what she did. So what if the person who's behind Erika is making Erika look bad on purpose, maybe to divert the attention from, not that Erika is innocent, but to the point where so much attention is on Erika, who wasn't even there that day as far as we know, and not enough attention given to others as well, like an Andrew Kolvet. And you will better understand that once we get into today's episode and we dig into Andrew Kolvet's history and his ties, and even the person that introduced him to TPUSA, which I think is a smoking gun, that alone in itself. Not smoking gun that he took out Charlie or had foreknowledge, but I mean to suspect that Andrew Kolvet is a plant, 100%. 100%. All right? So I just wonder, right? Let me see. Let me get this together. I just wonder if Donald Trump getting the ballroom was the last piece of the puzzle to complete specifically this stage of the PSYOP. Follow me. If just follow me in this episode. And I wonder if there's some sort of plan to try to overthrow the election in 2028. Allegedly. Everything I say in this video, in this live, in this episode is alleged. I'm not saying any of this is definitive. I'm not saying any of these things are facts or truth, objective truth. I'm not. These are just speculations coming from little old Didi. So I want to point something out to people. It's very important for you all to know, and I want to make sure that I note that one foreign nation that we don't mention on this show, their number one defense contractor was caught by the United States SEC for, I want to say money laundering, but that's not the official ruling. Instead, the term that they were found guilty of doing was misusing funds. All right. So pretend that I never said money laundering. All right. In violation of something called the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, or FCPA for short. All right. And I want to share my screen so you all can see this, because every now and again I try to provide some sort of proof so I can have some sort of credibility. Let me see what this looks like on you all's end. Where are we at? Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. That's pretty cool. So it says SEC charges Elbit Imaging Limited with violating books and records and internal accounting controls provisions of the FCPA administrative proceedings. March 9, 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission today announced that it charged that one foreign nation-based Elbit Imaging Limited for violating the books and records and the internal accounting controls provisions of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. According to the SEC's order instituting a settled administrative proceeding, Elbit and Plaza Centers NV, an indirect subsidiary over the Elbit exerts functional control, paid millions of dollars to third-party offshore consultants. We're going to put consultants in quotations, and you're going to understand why here in just a moment and how it connects to Erika Kirk and everybody else, or potentially. Consultants paid millions of dollars to third-party offshore consultants and a sales agent, and this may not be big enough for you all to see, so let me fix this a little bit. Maybe that's a little better, and maybe if I highlighted that'll help. So it says paid millions of dollars to third-party offshore consultants and a sales agent purportedly for their services and related to a real estate development project in Romania and the sale of a large portfolio of real estate assets in the U.S. Elbit and Plaza Elba and Plaza made these payments even though they lacked evidence that the consultants and the sales agent had actually provided the contracted for services, right? In addition, Elbit and Plaza failed to devise and maintain sufficient internal accounting controls to provide reasonable assurances that the company's funds would only be used as authorized, rather than the funds being embezzled or used to make corrupt payments. As detailed in the SEC's order, they also failed to record these payments in their books and records accurately in a manner that fairly reflected the true nature of the payments. All right. And part of the reason why this is sort of a big deal is because in layman terms, the SEC are basically saying that quote unquote money laundering took place, but that's not the language that they used. And the result of this was a civil settlement plus a $500,000 penalty, but there was no criminal conviction. All right. So I want to make sure that people understand that. But I also want people to understand that all of this was taking place the same year that Erika Kirk was getting her real estate license in New York with Corcoran, which we've in great detail, we've discussed Corcoran. Their ties to Epstein, their ties to Donald Trump, right? The president, the founder, the both CEOs over the past 20 years, their ties to Shark Tank, which that's going to come up with Andrew Kolvet. I mean, the connections here are just going to blow you all's mind, right? So just so I can repeat it in layman terms in a way to connect it all for you all. So Erika Kirk, who was getting her real estate license in 2018 in New York City, which, by the way, 2018 is the same year that she would eventually begin working for TPUSA, right? Because that was the same year that she interviewed with Charlie, where they allegedly had this date, right? So the same year that this happened with TPUSA, which is the same year that she was allegedly working for Corcoran, even though we can't really find any properties that she actually sold. It says, the same year she's working for Corcoran in New York City, but she also owns a Romanian charity that literally worked in a hotbed area known for, how do I say this, the illegal movement of underage human bodies. When this one foreign nation's Elbit, right, called Elbit, the organization we just read about here, was literally getting a FCPA charge and fined for allegedly, quote unquote, misusing funds to Romania for undisclosed real estate projects and its quote unquote consultants. This, because she worked at a real estate organization, they had consultants. We read about this in the Epstein files. So this is the same year. All of this is taking place when Erika Kirk is working for this organization. Does no one find that strange? I find it very strange. But we're not done. Let's take it a step further. Shout out to Brian, the auditor, who sent me some rather important information. So there is a company by the name of Salem Media, and they have literally been outed as a registered foreign agent of that one foreign nation. And that is extremely important. And you're going to see here in just a moment why that is. But once again, I like to provide some sort of halfway proof why I said what I said. So which is it? I think it's this one. So Max Blumenthal, shout out to Max Blumenthal, who actually broke the story. For those of you that don't remember, he is over, I believe it's, I don't want to butcher the name of his company. I believe the name of his company is what is it called? Blaze? Is it Blaze Media? Let me make sure I get this right. The Gray Zone is what it's called. It's called the Gray Zone. And remember, Max Blumenthal was the first one to sort of break to us the news about Charlie Kirk having the meeting with Donald Trump and, had a fiery meeting. I believe that's the way he described it, with a lot of, Zionists in the Hamptons. But he also broke the story about the meeting with Donald Trump, where Charlie Kirk strongly advised Mr. Trump, President Trump, not to go to war with Iran. So this same guy, being Max Blumenthal, states here, Donald Trump Jr. and Laura Trump hold a 30% stake in Salem Media, which is registered as a foreign agent for that one foreign nation. We can see it here. Eric Trump's company has merged with an Israeli drone firm, and Don Jr. is a top backer. The Trump family business empire has effectively merged with that one foreign nation. And I also want to state for the record, I'm not going to play this clip here. This here, it says, then there's Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who, is extremely suspicious himself. I believe he's he's a criminal just like the rest of these people, allegedly, who reportedly doubled his stake in Phoenix Financial Limited, one foreign nation's largest financial and insurance firms, which stands to gain from expanding Israeli settlements a little over a year ago, according to a January 2025 expose by The Lever. And as you can see here, make sure you all can see that. You can see it. Perfect. As you can see here, here are some articles to sort of substantiate that, but we're not going to get into that now because we're going to digress a little bit too much. Why is Salem Media important? Salem Media is very important because, let me see if I have it pulled up here. Because Salem Media, for those of you that don't know, actually partnered with Charlie Kirk to distribute and syndicate the Charlie Kirk Show nationally. Not that anybody's going to be surprised that the people backing Charlie Kirk were Zionists and tied to this foreign nation. It's one thing for them to be Zionist, but it's a completely different thing when we have established that they're literally an agent, right? But I believe I have something to read off about that as well. Let me find it first. I believe it is here. Okay. It says Salem Media. Charlie Kirk surges to #1. Salem Media and the next generation of conservative media dominate the charts, right? It says here, they announced today in a seismic shift that's sending shockwaves across the conservative media landscape. Charlie Kirk, host of the Charlie Kirk Show, has officially taken the crown as the #1 conservative podcast in America and now ranks #2 news podcast overall, following his takeover of the legendary Rush Limbaugh time slot. This is according to the latest Apple podcast ranker. All right. So boom. So they are the ones that backed Charlie Kirk. And as we just established, this same organization, I want to make sure I get the language right. This organization is a foreign agent for that one foreign nation. That is a really big deal. Like, this is not a small ordeal here. That's kind of a big deal. And another part of another reason why this is super important, because many of you are going to say either we knew this or even if we didn't know this, Didi, why is this important? Well, I'm going to show you why it's important. If you all remember in this video here with Brian the Auditor 5 months ago, we discussed something called Turning Point PAC, right? Many of you all found this channel through this video. But in that video, we discussed something called Turning Point PAC. And Turning Point PAC is extremely suspicious for multiple reasons. Once we dug into the finances, or I should say Brian the Auditor did all the work and dug into the finances. And I want to play just a snippet from the show, from that video, or I want to play a snippet from this video here, just to refresh you all's memory on what it was that we discussed around Turning Point PAC, so that you all can understand why the Salem Media information, that being they're a foreign agent for this one foreign nation, why it's such a big deal. PAC. Now, Brian, I'm gonna need you to explain to me what is Turning Point PAC? What is that?
We talked earlier about dark money. This would be the best example to use for dark money. So Turning Point USA legally can't be like sponsoring and helping elections, but a super PAC can, right? So you take the money from Turning Point. Now legally you can say, I didn't help Trump. I didn't help Carrie Lake. I didn't help, fill in the blank politician. So they donate from Turning Point to the PAC. Then the PAC pumps all these guys with money.
And I'm almost willing to bet that it came from Turning Point Action in particular on purpose because it's a 501c4.
501c4, exactly. Right. Yep, you got it. And another reason why they do this with the PAC, remember how I said earlier, Charlie Kirk isn't going to pay himself $1.6 million a year because that draws too much attention. Same with donating. So this guy, Jake Hoffman, they don't want to show they've given him $10 million. So you give 2 million through the PAC, you give 2 million here, you know what I mean? You give 2 million there, and it makes it a lot harder to find. That's why this took me time, because you got to go through all of these different organizations to figure out how much in total these guys have received. So that's why the PAC is very beneficial to them. Just back to dark money, hiding money. Also inbound dark money. If some big guys give money to the PAC, sometimes we can see it, sometimes we don't. So it just serves a lot of purposes.
And I want to state here, this is a portion from his report, his Doge audit report of Turning Point USA. It says, in October 2024, Turning Point PAC gave $295,222 to Performance One Media, the holding company for Real America's Voice, home of the Charlie Kirk Show. Between January and April of 2025, Performance One Media received $167,970. All right. And I do want to say, just for the record, because I don't want to hear anybody having to remind me of this. If I remember correctly, I believe it's since been established, and Brian and I have come on camera and corrected ourselves or made some amendments to the original statements. This was the original video. So I think we have since come out and stated that I don't believe that Charlie had a $1.6 million salary that he was paying himself. I believe it was still quite a bit. It was Charlie's company. I guess not that big of a deal. But I do want to make that slight correction. Now, let me tell you all why this is a big deal. All right. And I'm going to I can't take credit for this. Once again, shout out to Brian, the auditor, because Brian, he just always thought it was shady that within a 6-month period, Turning Point PAC donated $465,000 to the holding company of Real America Voice, which was the home of the Charlie Kirk Show, as we just read, which begs the question, why is Charlie Kirk's nonprofit giving that much money to the holding company of his daily show? Right? Like, what would be the purpose of doing that? Right? Because this gives people to read, and this ties it back to the news about Salem Media being registered as a foreign agent for this one foreign nation, right, that we don't name. It gives people enough reason to further speculate that there was an even greater chance that money laundering and circular funding was or possibly still is taking place at TPUSA, since a lot of these individuals that's behind these media firms that was funding Turning Point USA, they're known for doing this. This is a common practice, allegedly, that takes place, especially in that one foreign nation, right? And one more piece that Brian thought was extremely important, and I do as well, especially enough to mention, is that in 2019, $999,000 was paid to a company called Clock Tower LLC via America's Turning Point. I hope I'm not losing anybody here. So the same America's Turning Point that was conducted, you had different branches. You got Turning Point Action, you got Turning Point USA, and then you got Turning Point PAC. Then you had America's Turning Point. In 2019, $999,000, which you will notice is just under $1 million, and I think that's strategic, was paid to a company called Clock Tower LLC via America's Turning Point, and this was the only LLC in Brian's investigation that he was unable to find any information about. All right. The reason why I'm mentioning that today is because, let me share my screen. Let me see. Where is it? Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. Okay, maybe it is this one. Let's see. Yes. So it shows here that there's a guy, once again, Max Blumenthal, a guy by the name of Brad Parscale. He is over a company called Clock Tower X. I want to state for the record, we don't know 100% definitively if this is the same company, but they're extremely similar in like the name of the companies are extremely similar. And again, Brian couldn't find information on it, so we thought it was interesting. He thinks it's interesting. I think it's interesting as well that there's a guy by the name of Brad Parscale who is over a company called Clock Tower X, who is pushing AI platforms to drown out the screams of Hen Rajab, which I don't want to get into that now because, again, we'll do a little bit too much digressing. But let me see here. Brad Parscale, for those of you that don't know, is the chief strategy officer for Salem Media. Did you hear what I just said? He's the chief strategy officer for Salem Media. And he also happens to be the same person running this sketchy company called Clock Tower X, which, once again, in 2019, $999,000, which is a lot of money, was paid to a company called Clock Tower LLC via Charlie's organization, America's Turning Point. So that's kind of a big deal. All right, take with that information, do with it as you may. But I thought that was especially important to point out. Maybe somebody can look more into that at a later time. Now let's get over to Andrew Kolvet. I am ready to talk about Andrew Kolvet. Once again, as a reminder, I would encourage anybody who's joining late, if you want to learn more about Turning Point USA's military background, the link is in the description to this video that I dropped 4 months ago with Brian the Auditor. Again, it's a dense listen, it's a dense watch. It's a lot of information, but if you care about the information, if that's what's most important, this is the video for you. I promise you that one. So where is he at? So there's a guy by the name of Johnny Moore. Does anybody know who Johnny Moore is? Johnny Moore happens to be the person who introduced Andrew Kolvet to TPUSA. Johnny Moore also sits on the board of the ADL. All right? Anti-Defamation League. We all know who the ADL are, and we all know what their purpose is, right? Johnny Moore also led something called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Now, I'm going to actually pull up the article so that you all can get a better sense of who this guy is and why it's a big deal that this is who Andrew Kolvet was affiliated with before joining TPUSA. Let me find the article first. Where you at? There we go. How does it look on you all's end? I think that looks pretty good. Let me see what the words look like. So it says here, who is Johnny Moore, Gazan Humanitarian Foundation's new chief? So let's read a little bit about who this guy is that is affiliated with Andrew Kolvet that I will prove here in just a moment. So it says here, Reverend Johnny Moore. So I guess this guy's a pastor. Here we go again with another pastor. But before we can get into that, let's read right under the photo here. It says, known for his outspoken Christian pro-Israeli influence in Washington, Johnny Moore has been appointed the new GHF head. So it says here, Reverend Johnny Moore is a deeply divisive and controversial figure whose influence stretches from the evangelical heartlands of America to the volatile front line of Israel's ongoing occupation and oppression of Palestine. An American pastor and political strategist closely tied to former President Trump. So there's that connection to Trump, right? And Israel's far-right leadership, Moore was appointed this week as the head of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a highly contentious group operating with Israeli approval and widely criticized for its complicity in politicizing and militarizing aid in Gaza, right? Let's just read just a little bit more here. Moore's appointment has reignited outrage due to his past endorsements of aggressive plans to forcibly expel Palestinians from Gaza, as well as his links to organizations promoting Jihadist migration to Israel on the basis of biblical prophecy. Moves seen by many as supporting the expansion of illegal settlements and the erasure of Palestinian presence, right? What are his connections to Trump and that one foreign nation? Moore's close relationship with Trump began in 2016. So it just so happens that Andrew Kolvet is connected, and I'll show you how he was connected to the guy, connected to somebody who happens to also have a close relationship with Donald Trump, well before Andrew Kolvet even knew who Charlie Kirk was, allegedly. Says here, Moore's close relationship with Trump began in 2016 when he joined the former president's Evangelical Advisory Council. He was a regular participant in White House prayer meetings and praised Trump's staunch backing of religious freedom and conservative Christian values, often aligned with pro-Israel policies. As a reminder, Trump is not a Christian. He said himself he's not a Christian. Multiple times he said it. Right? So to me, that tells you that this is a psyop with all these people surrounding themselves with somebody who don't even believe in the same things that they do. He also sits on the board of the International Fellowship of Christian and Jews, a powerful U.S.-based organization dedicated to promoting Jewish immigration to Israel as a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. The group's mission explicitly supports returning the Jewish people to their homeland and resettlement efforts, making it a major player in religious Zionist activism tied to broader geopolitical aims. All right. Now, it's also important to note here that let's go ahead and pull our buddy back up. So Mr. John Moore here, Mr. Johnny Moore, who is connected to a lot of people, very sketchy. And I also want to state that, so earlier I was just stating that he led the organization called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It's also important for you all to know that this is the same guy running this organization before this foundation was allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, before it was shut down for heinous crimes and taking covert dark money from, once again, our favorite foreign nation country that we can't speak of. As we transition into Andrew Kolvet, and I take you all to this article that's going to break down all of Andrew Kolvet's connections, his family connections, his employment connections, his business connections. It's not looking good for Andrew Kolvet. When I say it's not looking good, I'm going to, before we even get into this, I'm about to list all the connections that Andrew Kolvet has, either directly or he's one person or one organization removed. He's either directly tied to it, meaning he has a relationship with them directly, whether that be the person or the organization or the country, or he's one person or one organization removed. That's like, you're not my friend, but you're friends with my best friend, and we're all around each other often, right? So you're still guilty by association, especially once you go down the list of all the connections that our good old buddy Andrew Kolvet has. Andrew Kolvet is, once again, either directly or extremely closely, indirectly, tied to Epstein. He's tied to Fort Huachuca. He's tied to military intel. He's tied to, surprise, surprise, the Martin Luther King COINTELPRO, as we'll get into that here in just a moment. Why is that important? Because I've already made the connection a couple of times. I've done an entire video on it between what allegedly took place with Charlie Kirk, who was surrounding Charlie Kirk, who was funding and backing Charlie Kirk, and the same thing for the one and only Martin Luther King Jr. I have a Martin Luther King documentary on this show. A lot of you all have seen it. A lot of the people that wrote Martin Luther King speeches, a lot of the people who was quote unquote controlling and funding and backing and sponsoring Martin Luther King Jr. happens to be from the same group and have the same agendas as the people that were allegedly behind Charlie Kirk. Andrew Kolvet is also tied to Gaza Aid, Donald Trump, obviously, Romania, right? Hasbara, NARS, the United Nations, Jeremy Boring. And I want to say all of these connections have nothing to do with Charlie. So outside of Charlie Kirk, that's what makes this even worse. It's not like these connections are through Charlie. Liberty U, a person by the name of Jerry Falwell, which will be very important here in just a moment. And as I've already mentioned, he also has a connection to Hollywood. All right. So with that, we're going to go over and read this article. And we're going to learn a little bit about who our good old buddy Andrew Kolvet is. Shout out to an account called Travis. For conducting an incredible. And part of the reason I know this stuff is factual and is credible is because, again, in the video that Brian and I put out months ago, the information we're about to read in this article is it aligns perfectly, except this goes a lot deeper. It says, was it a mere coincidence? Let me see if you all can read this with me. Is that close enough, or would you all prefer it? I probably like this. I think that'll probably be easier for you all. So here it says, was it mere coincidence that Andrew Kolvet was inserted into Charlie Kirk's life? Let's take a look and you decide. Turn Up on USA spokesman Andrew Kolvet has 5 siblings. His older brother is Curtis Kolvet. The other 4 of his siblings bear the Sazu or the Sazu name. J.R. Sazu, Will Sazu, and Ashley Sazu, Shu, and Lauren Sazu. I believe we discussed maybe his brother Curtis. I'm not sure in our video before. Andrew's father, though, is a guy by the name of Brent T. Kolvet, and his biological mother is Renee Francine Bridges. Brent and Renee would marry each other in July of 1978 in Douglas County, Nevada, and it even gives the license number here. They would have 2 children together, which is Curtis and Andrew Kolvet. After 13 years of marriage, Brent and Renee would divorce in September of 1991 in Washoe County, Nevada, and it even gives the file number here to corroborate the claim. Born in 1984, Andrew would have been 7 years old at the time. After the 1991 divorce, Brent would marry Andrew's stepmother. So let's read that again. In 1991, after the 1991 divorce, Brent, right, which is his father, would marry Andrew's stepmother, Denise A. Capurro. Right? It's hard to say exactly when their marriage occurred, but records show that Denise relocated to Nevada by August of 1996. Let's continue. It says before marrying Andrew's father, Brent, his stepmother, Denise Capurro, was previously married to a guy by the name of Joseph Richard Sazu, who was named after his paternal grandfather, Reverend Dr. Joseph Richard Sazu, a well-known theologian and pastor. There goes the pastor again, in New York and Washington, D.C. However, the interesting connection is his father. Are y'all following along? Denise and Joseph Sazu, right? So Andrew's mother and his stepfather would have 4 children together. Denise's father-in-law and paternal grandfather to her children was Joseph Mapes Sazu. Joseph Sazu was a long-serving FBI official. Of course he was. In the 1960s and 1970s, he became the FBI's inspector in charge of the Domestic Intelligence Division, effectively making him the right-hand man of William C. Sullivan. You'll see why that's relevant here in just a moment. The FBI's Domestic Intelligence Division under Sullivan and Sazu would manage major programs, including surveillance and counterintelligence efforts against figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights groups, the Communist Party, and later expansions of COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO, we've done deep dives on COINTELPRO maybe 2 or 3 years ago. During his tenure, Sazu would frequently author memos and reports related to these matters, including those tied to MLK surveillance, smear, and removal efforts in the 1960s. And here's some of the files to help corroborate it. Now we're not gonna dig into it here, but just to show you, you can see here at the very bottom, it shows the name Joseph. So this proves the very thing that is being alleged here. All right. So, yeah. And there's several documents here. Background information was yep. So this helps corroborate and prove everything that was just stated for anybody who is questioning if this is real or if it's just some random article on Twitter, which it is not. I've confirmed this information. It goes on to say Andrew Kolvet would have been around 13 years old when the Sazu name became a part of his family and story. So just so people understand, his brothers and siblings with the last name Sazu is not his blood brothers and sisters, but by marriage. While it is unclear if Andrew ever met the paternal grandfather of the 4 step siblings he grew up with, the connections and its similarities is certainly enough to raise a few eyebrows in the wake of the FBI's pitiful investigation into the powwowing of Charlie Kirk. And again, the Sizzou family is a family that we semi dug into pretty deep, that being me and Brian the auditor a few months ago in the video that I previously referenced. Once again, link is in the description. The article below traces Andrew's tangled family lineage to Sizzou. And so that is the article there. We won't get into that in this video because it would just take too much time. But maybe we can do that in another video if you all care to. All right. Or maybe I can include the link so you all can read it. So keeping lawfare a family tradition, Andrew Kolvet's father, so his biological father, Brent Kolvet, was a prominent Nevada district attorney and prosecutor involved in some of the highest profile cases of his era. His tenure was marred by accusations of using capital punishment for political gain in his bids for re-election. I'm not surprised there even one bit. And this is what
people don't
this is what his father looks like. I guess we could take a listen to this.
know about you and how you got to where you are right now in your life. Give us a little inside.
Yeah, I mean, I was working in Hollywood before I started working with Charlie. That's actually how I ended up working with Charlie. I was working with Mark Burnett. People would know him from. He did Celebrity Apprentice, which is a weird sort of full circle moment for me.
Yeah.
That ended up setting me on a path where.
So before we even continue, listen to what he just said. He worked in Hollywood. That is not a good sign. We all know who run Hollywood. We don't have to say it here. And he wasn't just working in Hollywood. He had some pretty important positions in Hollywood, right? Before he became a producer on the Charlie Kirk show. So he is correct that is a full circle moment, 100%.
And this,
and then he worked on The Apprentice. Andrew Kolvet also worked on the same show, Shark Tank. Why is that important? Because that's the same show that the founder and I believe both CEOs from the Corcoran luxury real estate group that Erika Kirk worked for in 2018 or allegedly worked for, had a real estate license through in 2018. They also was on the Shark Tank with Donald Trump. So once again, more connections to Trump, completely removed from Charlie Kirk. Who are these people? And is it a coincidence that they all were tied to Trump and Epstein, all these people? No, it's not. But let's continue.
A weird sort of full circle moment for me.
Yeah.
That ended up setting me on a path where Charlie and I's, lives would intersect, and which is a wild thing to think from a kid from Chicago. I grew up in Nevada, son of ranchers, Italian ranchers, and rodeos and baseball and chewing tobacco. And my dad was a district attorney when I was really little, and then he just was a lawyer after that. And so I had a little tiny sliver of political experience when I was really, really little, and a small rural town and county in Nevada. And but anyway, so to end up in Los Angeles, and then for somehow that to make it so that Charlie and I's paths would cross is a pretty wild thing to think about.
Yeah. But let's continue here.
Andrew, it's great to have you with us.
So it says, deepening the state connections, Andrew Kolvet's brother Curtis Kolvet is a lieutenant colonel with the 757 Combat Sustainment Battalion with the Nevada National Guard. Andrew Kolvet's first cousin, Robert Kolvet, is also a lieutenant colonel in the Nevada National Guard. However, Robert's LinkedIn reveals that he has been working in military intelligence as a business manager for Netcom that is headquartered at, wait for it, Fort Huachuca in Arizona. I'm going to read that again. Robert, as in Robert Kolvet, who is the first cousin, not distant cousin, not cousin by marriage, first cousin of Andrew Kolvet, His LinkedIn states that he has been working in military intelligence as a business manager for Netcom that is headquartered in Fort Huachuca in Arizona. What is Netcom? In simple terms, if the Army needs to communicate, share data, run apps, or fight in through cyberspace anywhere in the world, Netcom owns the network side. Netcom is subordinate to the U.S. Cyber Command and works closely with it. After an eyewitness spotted Erika Kirk at Fort Huachuca, allegedly, according to Mitch Snow, only days before Charlie Kirk's pow-powing, Andrew Kolvet attempted to provide an alibi for Erika. That alibi will later be botched by Paramount Tactical Gary Melton. I remember that. In Andrew's messages to Gary Melton, Andrew referred to Fort Huachuca as some fort in I always forget how to pronounce this. I don't want to mess it up. Is it Tucson? Andrew was playing dumb when he said this, as evidenced in the post below. Why he was playing dumb, however, still remains a mystery. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, I don't know if the music is gonna get the copyright strike. So there's the brother. Let's pause it right there. It says Nevada National Guard 137 Military Police Commander Captain Brian Hernandez left and Sergeant First Class Daniel Rogers, along with Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Kolvet. Second from right. Yep. Let's continue. Yep. There's Kurt Kolvet's. Yep. And this is his. It says, where is it at? Boom, boom, boom. Operator, that's Dale. Lieutenant Colonel, you can see it there. In the greater Reno area, okay. Where is it at? Where is it at? It says U.S. Army. Let's see. Army Commander. Okay, we see that. Mm-hmm. Kolvet Robert. Business Manager, U.S. Army Network Enterprise Technology Command. Okay. Netcom. Yep. In Fort Huachuca, we just saw it. And there's a Kolvet now working for Charlie Kirk. Let me see. Is this some speaking? Yep. And again, these are some of the things that we already covered.
The Resolute Hunter Fallon Navy base site. We were able to get together the Air Force, the Army, Fallon Navy of we did a site recon of the Resolute Hunter Fallon Navy base. We were able to get together the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy to participate. We're hoping to get all those involved in the exercise in the future. Today what we flew over is are there simulated surface-to-air missile sites. So as far as a joint exercise goes, let's face it, the future of the military is going to be joint. If we want to succeed against our near-peer enemies, then joint is going to be a requirement so that all the assets we have and the capabilities across the services and using them together in an exercise is better than the first time we do it in country. I think this is a great opportunity for the Nevada National Guard, Army, and Air to participate in a national level exercise with the Navy and kind of set the example of future training opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. Not weird at all, right? It says here, shockingly, Andrew's brother, Curtis Kolvet, was deployed to Romania, only 30 minutes away from where Erika's charity, Romanian Angels, operated. Come on, guys. Like, what? So let's see here. It says Nevada's 137 colonel doing a great job in Romania. And let's see if we can get the proof. It says, where is his name at? Okay, I'm not seeing him as of yet. It says, I see a Commander St. Major Dennis Basilio. Congratulate Sergeant Dan Rogers. Okay. I'm just going to. It says the base is 25 miles east of Constanta. And it shows here the name of this town that I'm not going to, the city I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce. Romania. In less than a decade, the Nevada Army National Guard's state chaplain has seen individual growth at their air base, a Romanian Air Force run NATO installation. Yeah. And it's showing quotes and different conversations that took place between the commanders to sort of help further substantiate the credibility of the claims. And it states here at the bottom. Well, let's start at the top. It says it's in good hands. Basilio said he found the installation is in good hands with the military police patrolling the garrison. Support from the Army Support Activity Black Sea and provides airfield security provided by the Romanian Air Force. Now down here it says Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Kolvet, commander of the 757 Combat Sustainment Support Battalion, oversees the military police detachment. It states it here. There is no way you got random different people coming to work for your company, that being Turning Point USA, and all of these people were connected. And we already know that Talaboria is connected to Romania. Kolvet, who spent part of his active duty time with the Army in Germany, later commanded the 593rd Transportation Company in Afghanistan in 2011. The University of Nevada, Reno graduate said the process that was put in place didn't exist prior to the MP's arrival in Romania. He said the 137th had to take charge. All right, I think we've seen enough there. Well, one sec. It's like glitching. I don't know why it's glitching. It's not allowing me to exit out. Okay, let me go back to it. Okay. Okay, there we go. My apologies, everybody. I don't know what that was. That was kind of strange. As a reminder, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let me get this back up so we can continue making these connections. All right. It says adding another 20 years of military experience to the family is Robert Kolvet's wife, Cassandra Kolvet. Cassandra serves as the State Family Programs Director for the Nevada National Guard. All right.
Awesome guest with us today. We have Cassandra Kolvet. You are the State Family Programs Director. So in the word itself, family, that's exciting. I want hold on to that so we can understand. So family is in that description. Secondly, you have served in the military for 20 years. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's a huge feat. But interestingly enough, you served sometime in California, in the California National Guard. You served sometime in the Nevada National Guard. Have you ever been deployed?
I have not, but my original duty station was with Big Army, and I was actually stationed in Würzburg. Würzburg, Germany.
Okay, so not only has you just been in the Guard, but you've been in the active duty, been on the other side of the world. That brings more experience. You're a wife of a guardsman, so you're married to a guardsman. So not only do you work for the families of the Guard, you also have a husband who's in the Guard as well. So that brings another dynamic and experience to it. And last, but definitely not least, you have children. So you're a mom. The dynamic and the experience that you bring to this interview is something that is crazy cool.
So there's that. So in conclusion, Andrew Kolvet is a very well-connected individual whose family touches nearly every power node in our great country. If there is an ongoing cover-up in the powwowing of Charlie Kirk, Andrew Kolvet is not an innocent bystander. He's integral. If you would like to, okay, and this is just additional information. Again, these are articles I think that would help tie things together. But again, I try not to make my lives way too long. Let me yeah. So there's that, man. What is oh yeah, I wanted to touch on I think the information that I just read speaks for itself. I want us to just think about what we just read. We already done like sort of like we even go into Tyler Boyer's history in that video as well. And a lot of these people knew each other. Like they were connected to each other. They knew each other well before ever working at TPUSA. We know that Tyler Boyer, Charlie has admitted that himself. Erika has admitted it. Tyler Boyer has admitted it. That Tyler Boyer and Erika Kirk knew each other well before. Well, we know for a fact that Erika Kirk has ties to Donald Trump, obviously through the pageant, in the pageant world. Erika has multiple connections to Epstein through the Corcoran group and its people, whether it's 2 people removed, 1 person removed. She has a connection to Epstein. The fact that she worked in the industry she worked in, that Trump was overseeing, posing in bikinis with backdrops that says Trump, we know that at that time Trump was very close to Epstein. Now we know that Andrew Kolvet, I guess we knew this before, but now we have more connections that draws parallels to not only Erika Kirk and Andrew Kolvet, but the work that they were specifically working on in Romania, right? But not only that, when we talked about Salem Media, when we talked about the #1 defense, yeah, I guess I'm not going to talk about that in this one. I'm going to hold off on this one. I'm going to say that one into the next one. But yeah, once we talk about the what was I saying? The quote unquote money laundering or the misuse of funds from that one foreign nation agents. I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this stuff. It's so hard to talk about this stuff sometimes without trying not to get the video flagged. But y'all get my point. Same time that she was applying for TPUSA, going on dates and giving Charlie the googly eyes is the same time that this stuff was taking place in Romania, where her organization was stationed, that Andrew Kolvet and Andrew Kolvet's family, military family, was literally working in the same area. Not to mention Tyler Boyer was as well. That's crazy. All right, y'all. Let's talk about this video footage. Have you all seen the video footage of Cole Allen? Cole Allen is the alleged assailant at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Well, new video footage has been released, and I have some questions. I have some freaking questions. I actually laughed my butt off, and I'm probably about to laugh again once we watch this video back. I'm going to show like 3 different angles or 3 different versions of the video clip. Here's the first one. So if you see here, a person walks in. This is going to be the first reason that I say this is the biggest reason why I'm showing this video clip first, because I want you to understand that a person, whatever this is, whether it's a door to a stairwell, a door to a hallway, a door to a room, a board meeting room, we don't know. But what we do know is that a person literally just walked in there. So that adds to how bad this is about to look. So a person walks in the door, and then there's a dog and a police officer. There's some sort of agent with the dog. Clearly, the dog thinks that something is worth investigating here, but the guy allows the dog to come in. Watch how fast the dog comes right back out. Pretty fast. The cop is talking or looking at somebody. He's engaging with somebody, or at least it appears so. And watch what happens not even, 3 seconds after he turns his head. What the? Wait, what? Hey. Nah, bro. This is comedy. There's no way this is real. So, okay. I'm not gonna. I don't have to keep. I'm gonna play the beginning one more time. Okay. So pay close attention. We got a person that walks in. Perfect. So now, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go to the next video clip, which should be a wide shot. And so he walks in. The dog is there. He's engaging or talking to somebody. Clearly, he sees whoever's in there. There's no issue. There's no threat. There's no problem. But you expect me to believe immediately after this, somebody with a rifle comes running out, and nobody sees him, by the way, or nobody does anything to apprehend him until after he's ran through the metal detectors. Check this out. He's talking to somebody. There's no threat, no reason to be concerned. He turns around just like that. Look at this still shot. Nobody's looking. Nobody's looking. How did he even make it through this door? How? Nobody's seen him except for the guy with the dog. So he's come through the door. Nobody hears the footsteps. Nobody sees him. He's almost to the metal detector doors. And look at this. Nobody sees him. Look where he is before anybody sees him, y'all. He's right here and nobody's noticed him yet. How is this possible? Look at this. This guy in the suit has no idea. These three ladies or whoever these are up against the wall back here, no idea. No freaking idea. How is this? This is why you call it. No, it's not AI. I don't think this one is AI. I think this is a real video. The AI one, you can tell it's AI because they're holding pizza boxes. Bro, what in the world? Look at this. Look at this. Now we're going to play it in slow motion. Watch this. So he points at the officer with the hand, with the rifle or whatever it was. The rifle and the cop is pointing at him. So it looks like he may have fired his weapon twice. I guess this is the part where they say friendly fire may have taken place. And then this back door over here in the top right will come open. And I guess that's the officers coming from the ballroom, maybe. You'll see them here in just a, okay, I guess we won't make it to that point in the slow motion. But right here, I guess we see them coming out of the ballroom in the top right of the door, the top right of the screen, those doors. I guess those are the agents coming out of the ballroom. Yeah, that's crazy. This does not make sense to me. This does not make sense to me. How in the world does he even get there? Like, how do you even get in the building? That's first and foremost. How do you get past the metal detectors before they even apprehend you? I'm sick of people telling me that the answer to that question is incompetent, but it's only incompetence when it's dealing with Trump. And you don't want us to believe that this was staged? Nah, bro. His job was to do exactly what we just saw on camera, which is part of the reason why they even allowed us to see anything on camera to begin with. This is why. This is why we was allowed to see anything on camera. Somebody says the ballroom was a different floor. That makes it even worse. How is this possible? I wish they would stop treating us like we're idiots, bro. Like, this is not a freaking this is not the manager at the local McDonald's. Shout out to anybody that works at McDonald's. It's not a knock to y'all, but you're not the president. How do these people get out of here with that? Get out of here with that. I think these people were all paid, bro. I think these people were all paid. Seriously. Because no other explanation better explains how a person could. Let me play this again. How a person could pull something like this off. He's talking to somebody. He sees somebody, and just like that, get out of here. You would have saw that person, and you would have saw the rifle already. Oh, bro, what is this? What is this? Hold on, I might have a third angle to play. Let's see what this is. Bro, look at this. Talking, looking, observing something. He's talking. That dude is talking. And the way the dog is reacting, that's more reason to believe that somebody is standing there, because you know how dogs are. When you see people with their dogs, they always want to greet you or sniff you or bark at you, touch you, scratch you, jump on you. Hey, somebody said the security told him to go. I agree, bro. I agree. I agree, bro. It looked like the security gave him his cue. He said, "Look, you good? You need help putting your shoes on? You need help putting the okay, you got it on? You got your weapon? All right, go ahead and pick it up. I'm finna turn around and take off running." The security told him to go. Oh, shoot, that's not the comment. Hold on, hold. Dang, I ain't even share the comment, the right comment. Hold on. Somebody said it's worse, Didi. Hold on, let me fix this. It's worse, Didi. The guy was pulling on the dog's leash. The dog and the guy both saw CA in the room. Right. He practically dragged the dog away. Right. He was telling the guy to go. Bro, y'all are so funny. Y'all are so funny, bro. Somebody said if I keep cracking jokes on Mickey D's, Calvin gonna come see me. Hey, don't come see me, man. I don't want no smoke. Dude, that's crazy, man. Crazy. Damn, I'm trying to give love to the person who I originally saw the comment. They telling him to go. That is so funny, bro. That is so funny. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The reactions are weird and slow. And it's only with these situations that these things take place. You all try something like that at a local party and see if police officers not going to see you fast at a local event. Of course they are. Look at this. Look. He engaging with somebody, and the dog sees him, turns around, and he's right there. And they want us to believe that this is real. Bro, look at him. He on a mission. His job, I'm going to tell y'all what I think was supposed to happen, though. I believe they were supposed to unalive him. And I think they missed. I think the friendly fire that you all heard about, I think that's what was supposed to happen. I think they were supposed to unalive this kid or this guy. I do believe, allegedly, not saying it's a fact, I am under the belief that this person was most likely under MK Ultra. I believe they were supposed to unalive him, much like Tyler Robinson. This is crazy. If I felt like this was real, I wouldn't be laughing. I don't think this stuff is real, bro. I don't think this stuff is real. I think they were supposed to unalive this dude. I genuinely believe that. Look at this. As soon as he turned his back, where could he have been? What excuse do you have? Where could he have been? And where was the weapon? This guy's full speed. Boom. What? That's not real. This is and they all get out of here, bro. 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 And now they running in the room. What are they? Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, you listen to people like Steven Crowder and Matt Walsh. Psyops don't happen, and nothing is never more than what meets the eye. Somebody has said the officer is a leftist. Oh, snap. So, bro, that's so funny. Oh, shoot. I think this dude is in on it. Right. And I mean, inside job is a completely different phrase than PSYOP, or it can mean a completely different thing than PSYOP. I believe it was a PSYOP. I think it was a psychological operation, which is to say, I don't know if like inside job in the sense of they worked on the inside because they don't like Trump. So they tried to get Trump up out of here. Somebody said, I'm having too much fun. Yeah, man. Somebody once said, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And this stuff is serious. It is. It's serious. It's 100% serious. But sometimes you got to laugh at this stuff because it's comical. All of these people, all of these things are comical. Oh, that reminds me. That's what I want to do real fast. While I have you all still here, let's go check out. Let's go check out the Charlie Kirk show. I want to show you all this Erika Kirk video. Let's check this out together. So this is Didi Got a Podcast. If you never heard of it, go show him some love whenever you get a chance. Shout out to Didi Got a Podcast. What is it? The Charlie Kirk show. Now watch this. So first and foremost, this is the thumbnail they chose. What are you doing? Erika's behavior and her outfit was so odd. It was just whoever's working the PR, which I have reason to believe that it might be Andrew Kolvet, bro. It's so bad that this is the best look that they can use for Erika. They got to know that this makes her look weird. Intense, too intense, the wrong type of intense. But then they said a message from Erika Kirk. That's all they put. Erika Kirk's message to America. To America. Okay. We don't have to watch the video over.
What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
But I do want to show you all something.
Will ever be enough for the evil in this world.
Okay. What do I want to show you all? So the video is only 9 minutes and 47 seconds. I mean, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Watch what they're about to do in the middle of this video. If this was not cringe enough for you, if it was not awkward enough for you, wait until you see what they did in the middle of this video.
And he's so unhinged that he is able to teach children by day and then attempt to murder the president of the United States by night.
Allegedly.
On TikTok, teens get over 50 built-in protections from the start. But for parents, further visibility and control of content can help create the right environment. That's where family pairing comes in. Teens under 18 have a 60-minute screen time reminder in place. And with family pairing, parents can set their own screen time limits or even set restricted times based on what works best for their family. Family pairing lets parents link accounts to see their teens' followers and who they follow, and help restrict content that's not right for them. Because peace of mind shouldn't take guesswork. With easy-to-use tools like family pairing, parents can help shape the environment that makes the most sense for their teen first. That way, discovery and creativity can follow. Learn more at tiktok.com/Guardians Guide.
And in his manifesto, he starts by contextualizing himself by saying, I am a citizen of the United States of America.
Dude, what? The world? What? Oh, boy. The worst part is we didn't even watch it in this full contextual positioning. What do I mean? Imagine if you watch this video of Erika for the first time, and then in the middle of her, this is a widow. This is a person that just lost her husband, and they're grieving, and people are making fun of her, and she's a victim, and she's, upset about people and how they use their free speech, even though that's something they complained about for years about the left, and even though her husband Charlie Kirk said himself that there's no such thing as hate speech. It's a such thing as free speech and speech that you don't like, but it's still free speech and people have the right to say it. All of a sudden, she don't believe that anymore, and she's a victim, and she's upset what people have to say, but she never has anything to say about what Trump says. Trump makes fun of people passing away, and Trump teases people and talks about people's bodies, and he does all sorts of things as the president while he's been president. He's done all of this, but she never says anything critical about Trump. But she's complaining about Jimmy Kimmel, stating that someone has the look of a battered widow, and she's upset. Imagine you're hearing her say this for the first time, and then in the middle of this a little awkward, super serious, intense conversation, and a TikTok ad just pops up from Andrew Kolvet. What are you doing? Who thinks to do this? They have to know how odd they come off. That was extremely awkward. But to make it even worse, what I wanted to show you all was the comments, because they've been accused of deleting comments. Let's just go through these comments together. Let's make this huge. Boom. Let's read some of these comments. We're just going to go in order. This is extremely uncomfortable. Lunatic. This is exactly how either an intelligence asset or a narcissistic act like. Haha, when I saw the comments about an ad in the middle, I thought they meant a YouTube ad. Nope, a TPUSA ad. Crazy. So no free speech. Oh, wait, it's only free speech when it's something you agree with. We are a part of the Rhythm Nation. People of the world unite. Why are y'all deleting comments? Let's see what they're talking about here. The people who are saying that freedom of speech is being taken away are the ones deleting comments. Shocking. Nope, she never says she unalived her husband. Crazy. Let's see here. Somebody says she's more mad at Drewski than the unaliver of her husband. Right. She immediately forgave him, but she's upset about people that are questioning the investigation, literally doing skits about her that are spot on accurate, but she's upset at them. Shouldn't you be upset with yourself? Because they're holding up a mirror, lady. As Charlie Kirk said, you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. Wow. Which goes in direct contradiction to what she's doing. Freedom or what she's pushing. Freedom of speech is when comments get deleted. So here's the second person constantly saying that they're deleting comments. Comments are definitely getting deleted. Wow. The difference between the top comment and the newest comments confirmed everything I was assuming. Running an ad in a video that's not even 10 minutes is crazy. My government media training radar is going off. So many rings. So many rings, right? They're coming for our freedom of speech. Wake up, America. She moved to his seat with no issue whatsoever. Teary face. By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:16. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, but all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. Charlie Kirk. Wow. An ad that tells you everything you need to know. Money. She genuinely has the most terrifying serpent-looking eyes I've ever seen. To her CIA handlers, we don't like this MK Ultra Mockingbird programming agent. Please take it back. Sincerely, the lab rats. Thank you, Erika. Okay, she got some support there. Mind you, Candace never accused her of that. Erika, respectfully, what are you wearing? Crazy, man. Speaking about evil while looking absolute evil is nuts. When she says evil, she's referring to people, human beings, not Satan. She forgave the shooter, but can't forgive Drewski. She is trying everything she can to ruin this man's name and reputation with legacy. They're not explaining away violence. They're trying to redefine it. Speech is violence. Silence is compliance, etc., etc. Meanwhile, actual violence is justice. Woe unto them who call good evil and evil good. Is this a TikTok ad in the middle of her talking about the corruption of the youth? Laugh my butt off. She needs to get out of the limelight and just focus on raising her kids. Candace has never said you unalive your husband, and your track record of lying is off the charts. And it just keeps going. The ad made me laugh so hard. Free speech is all right. Shabbat shalom. I know what I'm being for Halloween. Wow. We interrupt this serious message about political violence to bring you an ad for TikTok screen time. Exactly. Awkward, cringe, confusing. Crazy, man. She looks like an assassin. Can't wait to see this on the next The Boys episode. It says here, God bless Erika Kirk. The Lord will fight for her and her little ones. Keep it up. Okay. People are waking up to the dark forces that purport to rule over us. The rings on her fingers. Everyone is in favor of free speech. Hardly a day passes without it being extolled. But some people's idea of it is that they are free to say what they like. But if anyone says anything back, that is an outrage, right? Winston Churchill. You better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that will keep us free. The odds never lies. How disingenuous to say it's just Candace saying you unalive your husband. How about 50% of America thinks you had something to do with it? Yeah, man. I've spotted the agent. Wow. Good Lord, this is so unapologetically hyperbolic. The board members of TPUSA really effed this up. She needs to step away. Somebody said, I love Drewski. Dude, bad. This is why I started off the episode with saying, at this point, I'm convinced that whoever is supposed to be like looking out for Erika or wanting what's best for Erika, I'm convinced that their goal is to keep us entertained, and they want us to be suspicious of Erika. Who's the people who are telling her what outfits to put on, what colors to wear, the facial expressions, the exaggerated. Stop. That's it. Stop. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And then when people go and compare your behavior when Charlie was still around, it's, I'm not going to say completely night and day, but it's not quite like this, you know? So, heck yeah, man. All right. Y'all give me y'all thoughts in the comment section, man. Right, Didi, yes, it's finally, yes, Didi, finally. It's all a part of it. That's what I'm saying. I think I think they're doing it on purpose so that we can be suspicious of her. I think they want us they want to entertain us. I think it's all a show. I do. Because nobody in their right mind will continue to let this lady come out and do this weird behavior. If you're rooting for Erika, that's how I know people like Matt Walsh are agents. They're agents, right? Because if you cared, you would say, okay, I can understand why they're suspicious or why they feel weird about this. Or, okay, Erika, I support you. I'm not attacking you. That was a little weird, though. Or why did you choose to do this? Why do this now? Like, you know, but no, in his eyes, he don't get it. It's quote unquote retarded. Okay. People are saying she's a witch. She said she's a witch, Didi. You's a witch. All righty. Boom. Great theory, Didi. Makes sense. AK is the I'm telling you, I really think that it's a strong possibility that Andrew Kolvet could be her handler. I do. Thank you. And I'm sorry. Thank you for the $2 super chat. West Texas is the best Texas. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Yo, it's Blake Bednards. Let's to a show sometime. Didi. It's Blake Bednard. The name kind of sounds familiar. Forgive me if I'm supposed to know who that is. I don't know who that is. But do you have a show or something? Do you have a YouTube channel? Is this your YouTube channel? If so, just message me, man. For sure. Betty Boop, thank you for the $20 super chat. Did you hear Erika called God a she? Who is her God? I didn't catch that. I did hear her say God towards the end of the video when I first reacted to it the other day. But what did I say? I said, who is God? I want her to clarify who God is. That's all. But no, I actually didn't catch that. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Josephine, thank you for the $10 super chat. Go Didi. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And thank you for becoming a new member too. Appreciate that. Thank you, Josephine, for the $5 super chat. So glad to have found you. I've been looking for real people. Yay. That's dope. Thank you so much. I appreciate that big time. All right, y'all. Y'all hop in the comment section, man. Give me your thoughts. Please hit the like button. I made a post earlier today. We are doing a flash sale on the merchandise. The link to the merch store is in the description. Link to the Patreon for uncensored and extended videos are also in the description. There's a lot of videos over there that you cannot find on YouTube, both old and newer, and videos that you can find on YouTube. I drop extended versions of some of them over on Patreon. Link is in the description to that. You can become a free member or you can pay the $5 monthly fee, which should not be much at all for most of you, I would like to think. That's another way to support the work. But yeah, we're having a flash sale right now where many of the merchandise over there is 50% off. 50% off for some of them. So go and check that out. Some of them have like maybe 40% off, something like that. So go and check that out when you get a chance. If you like the sob shirt, but I digress. I have a crazy for noticing. I have a truth as a person. We have a lot of different designs over there. Allegedly design. I haven't worn that in a while. I need to go and my hoodie is in here, but I need to order me a shirt. The allegedly shirt would be fire. I think I'm gonna order that next. So yeah, go and check that out when you get a chance. Appreciate you all for your support as always. Someone says Blake Bernard, thank you for the $2 super chat. Blake Bernard is brilliant. Collab with him. Okay, I'll look into him. I can remember that name. I'll look into him for sure. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Great show. I cackled and woke up my cat. Is it the same cat that's on the screen, Fiona? That's funny. All right, y'all, man. I'm going to get up out of here. Got some stuff to do. Love y'all, man, as always. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Pray for everybody mentioned in this video. Until next time. Peace. Oh, yeah. Didi got a pie.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate at UCA. And his story is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas, and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly.
No such thing as a life that is better than yours. Y'all can just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright. No such thing. Come on, we can do better than that. Talk to me. Alright, let's start it over. No such thing as a life that's better than yours.
You're worse than the rich white people who are, or the rich white Jews that own these record labels, because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people, and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you? Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.